All right, we're gonna start a new project inspired by a geode. And this is a geode, a picture of a geode on my iPad. And it's basically, it's a rock. And when you cut it open, it has these kind of crystal layers inside. So our picture today is going to kind of mimic these lines and layers. If you can see, I'll zoom in. There's kind of these lines and layers, okay? This typically when you slice open a geode, it's more rough. This has probably been smoothed over and polished, and that's how they get this look. Here's another one. This one's purple. Here's a bunch of thin slices. Some people have coasters that are made of these slices. This one's really colorful. Got some pinks and yellows and oranges in there. And it's got all these interesting little shapes around the edge. And then this one isn't polished, so you can see, I mean, this edge might be polished, but you can see in the center there, it's still the pieces of the crystallized pieces inside. All right, so we are going to draw ours. So this is mine. It doesn't matter really which direction it goes. But I started in the middle, and I basically started drawing shapes. And then I'm going to leave the outside black and white, just as kind of a fun effect. And then the inside, I'm going to pick a color scheme. So this one I picked blue. So blues and teals is what I used to color the inside. And I kind of switched off and on throughout to kind of keep it interesting. And then to kind of make the border a little more interesting, I did the lines extra close together here and then kind of started to make them go further and further. So I'm going to set this one aside and I'll show you how I started. All right, so I'm going to start by creating kind of a shape in the center that might mimic the shape of the inside of the geode, okay? So maybe my center shape is like this, okay? And then I'm gonna do another layer outside of that. And maybe it kind of follows it, but then not perfectly. All right, this is my second layer. Okay, third. All right, my fourth layer. And then my next layer, I want it to be kind of like the crystallized outside or like the shape of the rock. So I'm gonna go extra kind of wavy with that, or sharper, smaller little indents. Okay. I'm gonna switch to Sharpie. Okay, I'm gonna trace these, what I have so far. If you don't have a permanent marker, use a black marker. If you don't have a black marker, just the darkest color you can find, maybe navy blue, dark purple. All right, this one I have to go slower so I can pay attention to the bumps. Okay. So I'm gonna go in and erase where I didn't trace exactly over my pencil. All right. Okay, now I'm going to start my coloring while it's like this, and then I'm gonna finish my my outside border and design. Okay, my last geode I did the blue color scheme. This one I'm gonna use orange and pinks. So I've already picked out my orange and pink colors, okay? And I'm just gonna kind of alternate through them, okay? I'm gonna start with a dark color in the center. And what I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna kind of, or dark pink, it doesn't look that dark, huh? So I'm kind of creating another shape in here to color. All right, I'm gonna pick, I want it to contrast as I switch, so I'm gonna pick a really light kind of peach color to go next. Okay, and I'm just gonna kind of outline that shape and color in the next section. All right. Kind of a dark orange. I'm gonna color in the rest of this. First shape with orange. This is kind of a red orange. All right, so now I'm gonna move on to this next section. I think I'm gonna start with this yellow-orange color. So I'm gonna kind of outline this first shape. And it doesn't have to be perfectly matching. And you can do a few layers that do match and then some that kind of start to veer off and make their own shapes. Dark pink. Actually, I'm gonna do yellow, light yellow. So basically we're just gonna keep alternating colors, and they're going to eventually repeat. I think I'm gonna do a pink one next. Actually, you know what? I'm going to use this dark pink and I'm going to just put a thin outline next to my black line. Because sometimes in the real geode, like there's sections that are thick and then there'll be thinner sections or lines kind of in there for a minute. I'm gonna actually go ahead and use kind of a little bit lighter pink, but to just kind of double that line, and it's gonna be a very subtle change, but still a little bit of a difference. I'm going to turn my paper. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to use regular pink to fill in the rest. So I'm going to outline that yellow section. And then I'm going to fill it in. And if you want to get really picky, you can fill it in by making lines like this. And that'll kind of give it the appearance of a real geode. You don't really notice on the yellow, but some of these darker colors, if you overlap in sections, you might be able to see it. So if we are coloring the sections in by making lines, it will look more realistic. All right. Okay, I'm going to do some more oranges now. I like this as a thin line section, so I'm going to do a little more thin lines in this next layer. I'm not going too fast. I have to go slow to kind of stay on my line. Okay, I want to pick a contrasting color so that I can see that the lines are thin. So I think this peach color is going to contrast with the dark orange. Yeah. I'm going to go ahead and do 2 layers of this one. So that the line is a little thicker but still skinny. And I can control it by doing 2 lines. All right. Do my first line over here, second, as I work my way around. it's going to help you if you rotate your paper as you're coloring or working your way around. It would be really hard to go around like this. It's much easier to rotate. Okay, I'm gonna go back to another dark color to contrast that light one. Okay, I'm gonna switch to yellow to do like, I think we need some more yellow in here. I'm gonna do a thin layer of the light yellow. And if you overlap, so my yellow, I'm kind of getting on the pink a little bit, and that's okay. It kind of makes it a little orange tint. All right, I'm gonna, like I did with the peach, I'm gonna do an extra layer of yellow. And I am using skinny markers. That's helping me have the option to make my lines thin. If you only have thick markers, you can use the tip of your marker to make your line thinner, and then your marker sideways to make the lines thicker or for coloring. And you guys know that from being in my class. I've explained that many times. All right, I think now I'm going to fill in the rest of this shape with this kind of mustard yellow color. So I'm gonna first outline the light yellow. And you can do whatever color scheme you want. You could do greens, you could do purples, you could do pink and purple. But basically, you're going to need a variation. So I'm using yellow, orange, and pinks, all in different shades of yellow, orange, and pink. But you're gonna need some options so you can layer it and have a few different colors to choose from. I have about 9 or 10 colors here. So if you don't, let's say you don't have enough purples, you could do purple, pink, and blue. Those all kind of blend well together. But you don't want to do like yellow and purple. Yellow and green could work. But try to keep it colors that are like next to each other in the rainbow. Okay, like so if you put them in rainbow order, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple. Red and orange are next to each other. Red, orange, and yellow. So you could do red, orange, and yellow. But you wouldn't want to do red and green. And if you enjoy this, and you can do multiple color schemes if you want to do it more than once. So do one with purples and blues, and then do another one with oranges and reds and yellows. All right, so that section is finished. So now this next section, I think I'm gonna do the thin lines at the beginning again. So this is kind of a medium. I think I can start with, I'm gonna use this dark orange again. Seems to be a good color. There we go. Okay, I want to do one more layer of this color to make it a little bit thicker. Okay. All right, I'm gonna do pink next, and this is a fat marker so I can All right, I'm gonna do that dark pink or that hot pink color. Okay, let's see. I think I'm gonna do this mustard color next, and then fill in the rest with the regular orange. carefully. It's a subtle difference, but I don't want to outline too fast and cover up my mustard color. So I just want to make sure I'm going right next to it. They look very similar, but I still want that subtle difference to show up. All right, now I can color in the remainder orange. I can color in by making my stripes, unless this section was small there, so I just colored it. Okay, last section. Now this section, I'm gonna start on the outside and work my way in. And I want the outside lines to be really thinly layered. And then we're going to do like a thin black line around the outside to emphasize that border. So I'm gonna start with, I'm gonna start with the mustard yellow. This one's gonna take a little bit longer, and when we're getting bigger, as we're moving outward, and this has a lot more bumps and texture to it, so you have to go a little bit slower, pay a little closer attention to stay with the curves. All right, got my first layer down. Okay, now I'm gonna do a lighter yellow to just kind of border that. The yellow's so light, it's kind of hard to see the edge. So my next color, I'll have to go slow and carefully so that I don't cover up my yellow. All right. Got some white spots in there, just filling them in. Okay. Now I'm going to use this red-orange color to really contrast. So I need to look closely. My head might come into the screen a little bit. Okay, next I'm going to do that dark pink color. And it's going to be a very subtle change from the red-orange. But a fun, subtle change. And I'm being careful to make sure I'm going next to my red-orange, not on top or covering it up. Okay. I think I want to do at least one more layer. I think I'm going to do this light peach color. Okay. I think I'm gonna do a dark layer around this and then fill in the middle. So what dark color do I want to do? I think I'm gonna do that dark orange color. Yeah. Okay, and I'm gonna fill in the rest with regular pink. And I have a thick pink, but I think I'm gonna get in these spaces a bit better with, and not cover up my peach if I use the skinnier marker. So again, it's a very subtle difference from the peach, but you can tell the difference. It's just a little bit darker. So as soon as I came together here in this skinny section, then I can just kind of work my way inward in this section. But still keep my lines. As you can see those, the marks that I'm making with my marker. You can see where my marker has been. See, I got skinny over there, so now I can do the inner layer. And just keep working my way back and forth until I touch in the middle. And then I can fill in those little white spots, or I can leave them because they look kind of cool. Create some texture. Almost finished with coloring. All right. So I'm almost finished. I'm done with the coloring. I'm gonna switch back to my Sharpie. If you need to take a break, and I should have said this earlier, but if you need a break, take a break. My hand's kind of hurting, but I'm gonna keep going for the sake of the video. But if you need to take a break and come back and finish later, you know, pause the video. If you need to fast forward the next time you, to where you left off, you know, go ahead and do that. But don't feel like you have to do all of this in one sitting. Okay, now I'm going to start really close, not touching. Okay, I'm leaving white in between, but really close to that outside squiggly line. I'm going to kind of mimic that, like a ripply layer around the outside. Kind of like when you throw a pebble into a pond and it makes ripples. Okay, they follow each other. Okay, now I'm going to do that again. Still staying pretty close, but not touching. Okay, I'm gonna stay close, but I'm not going to mimic it perfectly this time. I'm going to kind of make the line a little bit less perfectly next to the other one. So it's not gonna follow the shapes as exactly as the times before. But it's still pretty close. Okay, and I'm just going to gradually, I'm gonna start over here this time. I'm going to gradually kind of get further away, and my lines are gonna become a little bit different than the last. So we're not gonna follow as perfect as like a ripple in a pond. Kind of like how these guys changed a little bit as they grew. Okay, kind of similar. All right, I'm gonna start a little bit further away this time. I can start to go a little bit quicker as I get further away. I'm gonna start creating kind of new ripples on this layer. Okay, kind of going off the page there, restart, restart. You just gotta pay attention to where you gotta meet from where you started. Okay, I'm off the page here, so I'm gonna start over here. And I'm gonna go off the page there. So I can just finish this section. Okay, now I'm gonna do this one. And I'm gonna get further and further away. There we go. All right, so there we are, all finished. I'll bring back the other one so you can see. Kind of fun. I hope you enjoyed making this, and send me pictures. I want to see how they turn out, and your smiling faces, because I miss you all. All right.